In this Retro Game Mage review, we play Lester the Unlikely with a gorgeous Pocahontas topcoat. Yes, that's right, bad, unintuitive controls are back, along with some amazing artwork and music in this 1996 release of Pocahontas for the Sega Genesis. Released nearly a year after the release of the film, this puzzle platformer placed players in the role of the beautiful native girl Pocahontas and her raccoon companion Nico, who must work together to navigate the forest, help troubled woodland critters, and stop the impending war with the European settlers. Now, before I get into the controls, I just want to really point out something that is probably obvious already to those of you watching this. This game is gorgeous. Funcom, the guys who put together this Genesis version, really did an amazing job with these graphics. Everything is crisp and detailed, from the backgrounds of the woodland landscape to the sprites for the animals, and Pocahontas of course. This game just pops visually from start to finish. The music they implemented is amazing as well. I often give a lot of flack to the Sega Genesis for sounding like a futuristic dystopian fart machine, as do many others when it comes to the FM synth of the Genesis. But here, they managed to sidestep that problem that many others often could not, and really landed a great soundtrack on the Genesis. If you've seen the film, you'll recognize the fact that they very thoughtfully put the sing-alongs in the correct chronological order alongside each level you play, so it's really as if you are playing your way through the film. A really nice choice, I think. On to the gameplay. So to progress, as I mentioned before, you'll be playing as both Pocahontas and Miko working together to solve puzzles. The two characters play distinctly different, and this is what makes up the bulk of the puzzles. You know, trying to get Miko to where only Pocahontas can go, and vice versa. Miko has the ability to climb trees, crawl through rabbit holes, and cannot traverse water. Pocahontas, on the other hand, can jump higher, climb ledges, and swim, but cannot crawl through the rabbit holes. So you see where the limitations come from. What you end up doing in most levels is figuring out how to move the two along in order to get Pocahontas to the point where she can help the troubled animal in that area. Upon doing so, she is gifted a new animal spirit, which gives her a new ability, such as running, taking less damage when falling, and diving underwater. As for the controls, Miko controls pretty easily and feels similar to the way Simba controlled in The Lion King, if you've played that. Pocahontas, unfortunately, does not control very well. After some time has been spent with the game, she still doesn't control well. And although her sprite animates beautifully, her positioning is always awkward. Like, you have to be in the exact right spot to jump up ledges, and this can get very frustrating at times. Don't even get me started on climbing up trees via jumping from branch to branch. All this is what brought about the Lester the Unlikely joke at the introduction, but really, it is pretty bad. Falling from a branch is something you really don't want to do in this game, as you fall straight down all the way to the ground and have to slowly make your way back up, because you can't alter your direction as you're falling. But you know, aside from that, if you can get past these odd controls, you're looking at a pretty decent game. I've heard awful things about the Game Boy version, but this one here has apparently received decent reviews. Most of which take points away for the controls, and some for the puzzles being a bit easy, but for the audience this game is aimed at, you know, small children, it's hard to be cynical about the difficulty, and so the puzzles being easy is fine with me. Now, even as a completionist, this game is only going to run you about 2 hours long or less, but since it's a Disney licensed game from the 90s, I can't imagine it costs much, probably no more than $5, which is worth it in my opinion. This game, I would say, is more than playable, and enjoyable at that. It's visually stimulating, the puzzles are simple and fun, and the story sticks to the film to a T, all coming together for a good experience overall. Pocahontas is my favorite Disney film, but I definitely tried to put that bias aside here for this review. Not like scoring this one well will make my cartoon crush like me more. She's a cartoon. I'm just saying. A cartoon with big full lips and long flowing hair and